Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the Midnight Barn with Zac Slusher. I am Zac Slusher, and you can type in that name on Facebook and give that page a follow, and also YouTube. Give us a like and a share and all that stuff. That would be awesome. But this is our second episode, like I said, and we have the guitarist from The Sword, Kyle Shutt, joining us. And it's a little glitchy at times, but remember, we're doing this remotely, and it's hard to make everything perfect. And it's really the interview and what we talk about that makes it count, anyways. And we had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Barn with Zac Slusher. I am Zac Slusher, and this is episode 2 we got here. And if you didn't see the first episode, this show's kind of based on what is happening during or during the pandemic with everybody. You know, everybody's got their own story that they can share. And like I said on the first episode, it's nothing I want to oversaturate or anything, but like everyone's got their own story. Everybody has what they're going through in their life. And that's kind of what this is based on. And so our guest for today is guitarist from The Sword, Kyle Shutt.
What's up, Uncle Trash Blood? It's good
Hey, what's up?
to be back on the show.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Kyle was on my podcast Trash Blood, and yeah, this is my new venture, man. But how you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing good, actually. If you would have talked to me 2 months ago, it would have been a different story, but I'm doing a lot better. And to quote Phil Anselmo, I'm doing a lot better.
Nice. Yeah, man. So let's just get into it. So with this whole pandemic thing going on, let's get into like what you were doing right before this started happening. What was going on? Which this might be the 2 months you were just talking about, like when you weren't doing so good because
kind of, yeah,
plans or something.
Yeah, it was I don't know. The last time we spoke, you and I, we were like, I think The Sword was like 2 or 3 shows away from kind of going away for an indefinite amount of time.
Right.
Our hiatus or whatever you want to call it. But that the period after that was a real roller coaster for me. It was just doing the solo album through Kickstarter and stuff, which, you know, raised a lot of money, but the entire project, like in the big picture, wasn't necessarily profitable. I'm still kind of paying off some bills because of it and everything. So it was just a sign of the times of like how the music industry was kind of like going in a downward spiral, and just there was a lot of like negativity at the time that I just needed to shed, and I sort of had to break up with music for a little while, just personally. And I was, you know, because it was one of those things where like I couldn't even sell an album anymore. Before it was like you could sell 1 CD to somebody, but like now you can't even sell anything, you know. And so
I mean, you got
music's
Spotify,
kind of reverting
Pandora.
back to how it used to be. Yeah, you know, and it's I mean, just to put in perspective, you know, like my royalty checks, you know, used to be maybe like $12,000 a year and like stuff like that. But now with streaming being like on the forefront, I'm lucky if I make $1,000 a year, you know, so I really can't count on that as any kind of income. So I don't know, boohoo, fucking rock star guy or whatever. But like, it's a real thing. It's happening to every musician all around the spectrum, even from the biggest to especially the smallest, like feel it the most. So I don't know. It was like I needed to get out of the music scene for a while, personally. Not that I wasn't playing. I just needed that not to be the entire focus of my life. So I sort of I wanted to reinvent myself within like the bar restaurant community, which I had sort of done before, working in breweries and things like that. The Sword itself brewed a lot of beers with places, and I don't know. I've always wanted to own my own bar and things like that. And I finally felt like I was mature enough to handle that responsibility, instead of just doing blow every night and fucking die when I'm 45. But things were looking good. I felt like I needed some actual real deal bar experience, not just working in a brewery. So I started working at this place in town, and within a month they asked me if I wanted to be the general manager of the new location that was going to open. And so I was like, this falling right in line with everything. I'll nail this. This will be great. There was a lot of challenges with that place because of the time of year that they were opening. They were opening in October, and so it was like it's a really bad idea to open a bar in the slow season, because you're going right into the the winter time, and it was a big place, and it was. I managed the hell out of it. I loved it and everything, but it was just there were definitely some real reality, challenges that I had to get across to the owners and stuff. And I just kept telling them, like, look, man, it's, you know why it's slow is because it's Thanksgiving and you're open, and it's like,
right.
So I was like, but just wait till South by. Once South by hits, everything's gonna be fine. Like, we're all gonna be eating good. It's gonna be great. It happens every year. This is how it works,
So when that happens, is pretty much every bar and restaurant just packed during that time?
Dude, to put that in perspective, for it to get canceled like it did, it was like your average bartender in Austin during that 1 week will make anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 easy, no matter where you work. It's insane. The whole city turns into a giant street party. It's fucking crazy. And it lines everyone's bank accounts for the summer, and then you go into the busy season and you make a lot of money, and you stay out and blow it all on drinks and blow and recurring theme here, but still, and then you hit the slow season again, and then it's a vicious cycle. We all love it, and it was a real kick in the balls whenever South by got canceled, and it's like, oh no, this bar isn't going to make it. Like, we were already on fumes, you know what I mean, and now this is it. So it was like, and then they announced the shutdown of everything, and then that bar went poof, gone. So yeah, I'm out of a job now.
If Southwest or if that would have happened, that probably would have, I guess, made enough business to last a few more months, or?
Oh no, it would have turned around, because we would have been entering the busy season. We were already doing a lot.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's just that, like, we were on the upswing. Like, as soon as March, hits in Austin, people are ready to go outside again, start drinking margaritas, and just hang out and day drink and stuff. It would have all been fine. It was a 24-hour establishment too, so it was like,
no shit. You guys have 24-hour bars?
Yeah. It was. Well, no, it was like a coffee house during the off hours, but
I see.
There was only a few hours a day that we didn't serve, like from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. because then you'd have those like alcohol, those
rules and regulations. And stuff.
And then you'd also have like the old men that want to start drinking Pabst in the morning at 7 a.m. Coming in every day. So it was a fun spot. I'm gonna miss it, but that's okay. Also, on the other side of that, the Sword had decided to come out of our hiatus because Primus called us up out of nowhere. It was literally just like a shot in the dark. Like, hey, the Sword, we're gonna do a Rush tribute tour. Do you want to do it? It's gonna be like you guys, Wolfmother and us, and we're gonna do a Rush tribute set and all the greatest hits and all this. I was just like, dude, it's like my childhood heroes calling you up again. Because obviously the Sword with like the Metallica years and stuff that like you and me had talked about, like that was already like a huge deal, and we've done many awesome tours. Don't get me wrong, but like, to go out with Primus though, like that would be sick.
Oh, dude.
So yeah, we decided to get the band back together.
Oh yeah, and the new song is awesome, by the way.
Thanks. That's actually a very old song, like that we had recorded. It's part of because the new release that we had put together was like a rarities and B-sides compilation that it was just like stuff with our original drummer that nobody had ever heard, and it was basically we just cleared out the vaults, made a really cool vinyl set out of it, because we're like, well, we don't have any new stuff, but we're going to be on the road. Let's support something. So we decided to do that, and then like 2 weeks before we were going to announce the whole thing, like Neil Peart died. Because like we had already been. So
he died after this tour was already being planned, huh?
Yeah, and
and
we hadn't announced it yet, so it was like I could argue it both ways. You could either say it was like it could be seen as like a cash grab, be like, ooh, let's go make some money on Rush, or it could be seen as like the ultimate tribute, But I guess from what I can guess, I don't know this for a fact, but I know Primus and Rush are friends. And so I'm sure they wouldn't do anything without Alex and Getty's blessing. And I'm sure they told him,
oh, for sure,
hey, just give the family a month of time. You're never going to get over something like that in a month. But you know what I mean? Just give them a month of privacy, and then you can announce and do it, and it's fine. I like I said, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm sure it went somehow like that. Yeah. And so then we announced the tour, and it was going to be amazing. And then like this, I just watched fucking tours dropping like flies. It was like there was a sniper on top of a building, just like taking them out left and right, man. And it was just, I just knew it was going to happen. And Primus, like, they were just holding their ground. And like, they didn't, it took a long time for them to finally just pull the plug and say, we'll do it next summer. Right. So at least it's still on. It's not like I'm just lost out on some huge opportunity. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the year, but.
And you kind of can't blame them at first, because when this whole thing started, actually, it still seems unreal. And when it first started, I kind of had it in my head. I was like, well, this is going to blow over and be done quick. So, and I was going to message you and tell you I was going to go see you guys in Kansas City on that tour. but it was like a day or two before that. I saw that everything was canceled and then all this shit was happening. But I was looking forward to that too. But man, that's a bummer, dude. But
tell me about it.
Hey man, you got next summer, so that's pretty awesome.
I know. And, I just need to find a job, which kind of leads me up to like what I started doing during the quarantine. If you want to like take it there from what I was doing before. I didn't know what to do. A lot of people are doing this right now, and I don't mean to be negative or anything or talk shit, but I'm not the kind of guy. I don't feel good like just sitting in a room with a guitar, playing on the internet. whoever happens to click on my little box. But I don't know. I can't. I like playing in front of people and like just being sweaty and just doing shots at the bar with all the fans that are there, just having a really good time, and just it's a communal thing. Everything I do for a living relies on the biggest public gatherings possible, and so it just was a real rug out from under me from all angles. And I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty depressed, just like the whole nation did. I'm one of the lucky ones though, because I was able to get a pretty decent unemployment package and stuff. So a lot of people are a lot worse off than me, and my heart goes out to them. But I got a family to take care of. I got 2 kids now. I had 1 kid. When
you just had a kid last
now I
week,
have 2. Yeah.
Awesome,
yeah, we did. So that really brightened things up. My partner and I had our son in a house that we had rented. He's freeborn. It was just me and her.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
With the kid, yeah. So I caught my son about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
2.5 weeks ago.
Quite an experience right there.
It was
man.
awesome.
I can't even imagine.
Dude. I was prepared. I was pretty much right there for the first one. It's just this time I had the knowledge to handle it on my own. Having babies, honestly, y'all, isn't that big a deal. It's been blown up into this huge money machine that people, I don't know, that's a whole other podcast, I'm sure. But anyway, we had our son. It really brightened the mood around the house. And I also started painting these really silly, I guess, homages to pop culture of myself. I guess you would describe it. So I had a bunch of copies of my solo album sitting around, just not making me any money, and I don't know, for whatever reason, there was, I think I know where it started. There was this kid that bought a record from me, and he said, I was like just signing it. He was like, will you sign it? And I said, yeah. Do you want me to draw a mustache on it too? And it just kind of started as a joke like that. And I just thought in the back of my head, like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I like just drew a bunch of shit on my face or whatever, and with some Sharpies. So I just like kind of took some Sharpies and I did the Kiss makeup, on myself. And I was just like, hey, anybody want these? Just make me an offer, and I kind of like started to get more ideas here and there, and people started throwing in requests and stuff. And pretty soon I don't know, I went to the art store and bought a bunch of like oil paint pens. And by the way, I had no aspiration to ever be a visual artist at all. This is totally serendipitous. And I don't know, I think it was just like my inability to play guitar. I just put that into painting. And I don't know, it was something I could do by myself. I didn't have to film myself doing it live for people to tip me or whatever, I just say.
So you're hand painting your album covers, and I've seen those on Facebook and whatnot. And I'm trying to think of what I want to request, because I want to get one, but I'm trying to think of the right thing to request right now.
I've been so happy with just people's reception of it, because like, I don't know, it's just kind of like when I did the solo album Kickstarter campaign, it was just like almost like a TV show you could watch, you know what I mean? As far as just something to look at on your phone for free, if that's all you want out of it, it's that, at least it's entertaining on that level. And also, if you want to own one and put in your request, and you just like hit me up, and let me know. And I've been telling people, on average, I've been getting this much for them, but feel free to give what you can. I know times are tough, and I'm not going to put a price wall, on somebody. Just if you only got $20, I'll do it as like a black metal face real quick or something like that. If you want to throw down $100 or something, because I don't know, you're trying to help me out because this is my only job right now, then I'll put you to the front of the line and I'll go nuts on like Dr. Roxo or something, full coverage. So it's just like, I'm there's no rules with it. I'll do just about anything as long as it's not some horrible racist bullshit or something. But
for sure. One thing that's in my mind right now I keep thinking about is a Toxic Avenger one. I don't think it's
I already
glitchy.
did that.
Oh, you already did the Toxic Avenger?
I already did that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know
Shit, I didn't see
Jersey?
that.
Do you know
Yeah, I know
Jersey
Jersey.
Thornhill?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it was him.
co-hosted
He requested that
Trash
one.
Blood for a little bit.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's great. I
That's
love that
cool.
dude.
So,
Hey, Jersey.
yeah. Hey, Jersey. What's up, dude? Yeah. He's a really cool dude, man. And so, yeah, he got the Toxic Avenger one,
He
huh?
did, yeah.
Jersey,
That was
you
a fun
son
one.
of a bitch.
I know that was a full coverage one because it's not like I just do I paint whatever they want. It's just like I try to make it a version of me because the album cover, for those that haven't seen it, it's like a velvet painting of me. So I'm just painting over that in a way that makes me look like Ronald McDonald or fucking Audrey 2 or whatever people
What's
want.
the weirdest request you've got so far?
Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte was the weirdest
really?
request, I think, just because it was like how do you even draw that? Number one, with that, the hand is the main thing with the character of Napoleon. And I just didn't have room for that and everything. So I don't know. I did the hat, I did the coat, I don't know. That was not that
nice.
I don't like any of them, but that was a challenge.
Yeah,
just to capture the essence of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're doing Napoleon, you got to have the suit, you got to have the hand.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna know it's Napoleon. They're gonna think it's like Bo from the Three Stooges or something.
Larry David though was fucking. That was a funny one that I was just like, oh Jesus, like his only characteristics are like bald and glasses. So I was like, all right, here we go.
I gotta see that too. Damn.
Bald
so
and
are
glasses.
all these on your Facebook page?
They're
or
all on the
Instagram
Instagram feed. Yeah, okay. I don't really hang out on Facebook much, but my Instagram feed, I try to do one a day. I think I'm talking to you instead of painting tonight because I think I need a fucking night off. I've done like 10 of them in a row. So
right. What's the most recent one you did?
I can do one a day. Last night I did Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
do you have a pinhead one yet?
No, that's been
pinhead.
So I have a list of my own ideas that I want to do, and then the list of requests that take priority over my ideas. But I usually like once a week I'll do one of my own. You know what I mean? To slide it in there, just like just for my own interest and amusement still. And it's been fun. Like I said, I had no aspiration to be a visual artist, but it's turned into a real fun project because I can. Sorry, my light's going out.
Oh, you're cool.
I can actually, I'm outside, but I'm getting better every time I do one. You know what I mean? I've done like almost 60 right now, so it's like I'm starting to understand like proportion and just normal stuff that regular artists go through. That I had no aspiration to ever be a visual artist, and it's just really funny that now I'm just here. I am. I'm about to. We're gonna have an art show displaying all of these paintings and stuff
nice.
at Veneer Records in Austin at the end of the quarantine. As soon as they let us open up businesses like that, gonna have an art show. Whoever knew? I didn't.
That's awesome. I mean, I've always wanted to be able to paint and draw, but I can't paint or draw for shit. Like I can draw a stick figure, and that's about it. It's like it's the worst.
Just start. I couldn't either. I did it I started 2 months ago. Just draw something every day. I swear to God, you'll get better in no time. It's just like anything else. It's crazy.
Yeah, my handwriting is the same as it was in kindergarten. That's not even an exaggeration at all. It really is. Like, it's so bad. I got big, dumb, fat, dumb hands. But so if you don't mind sharing, you live in Austin, Texas, right?
Yes, I do.
And what's your household like? How many people do you live with, and pets and all that?
Yeah, we live in an Airstream trailer. A travel trailer. We were going all over the U.S. About a year and a half ago, and or maybe only like 6 months ago. I can't remember. Time flies. But we were out on the road for a year and a half, just kind of all over the Western U.S. We stayed up in Oregon for a little while. It was a lot of fun. But I had to come back to Texas. I had a lot of stuff to do, and so we parked in Austin not too long ago. And my lady was pregnant anyway, and so we just needed a place to come have a baby, and so we rented and it was funny, we already had planned on trying to get this light back on, had planned on having the baby at home anyway before all this quarantine stuff, so it was just kind of like, I don't know, we weren't really, it didn't really change our plans other than just me losing my job and getting all my tours pushed back and everything. So, and it's we have a dog as well, and our 2 kids, a daughter and a son. And that's us. And yeah, this house that we're in is really nice actually. Like, and it's funny because like we got it for a hell of a deal because like Airbnbs are like dirt cheap because of this whole quarantine thing.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Which sucks, but hey, at least I won something there. We just wanted something a little bit bigger than our trailer to have the baby in and make the transition from 3 to 4.
Right, right. I never really thought about that Airbnb being so low now, and like that is a good way to rent a house, I guess, if you're looking
Yeah,
for a place to
for,
stay. I mean,
for like, I mean, if you're looking to rent something that normally would be so far out of your price range that you wouldn't even click on the thing, now you're like, oh, well, I mean, really, this is a pretty good deal, really. When you
fucking jacuzzi, hell yeah.
Yeah, right. But that's it, really. That's
awesome.
that's you're up to speed now, I guess.
So
on
what
our
about
situation, yeah.
what about diet wise? Has anything like changed like drastically on that?
Not really. We cooked at home a lot anyway, and
Right.
a lot of the places that we would eat out at have been doing curbside pickup. So we just trying to support our favorite businesses.
Right, right.
Trying to just go to all my favorite breweries and buy a 6-pack when I can. Get it? Can. I'm a dad twice now. So yeah, working on these dad jokes. Yeah. But no, the only difference is that I'm watching a shitload more TV than I normally do. I'm not really a TV guy usually, but I stay up with our son usually till 5 or 6 in the morning just so mama can get some sleep. And I've just been blowing through every TV show that I've been putting off for years, and things like that. Every movie franchise that I was like, I'm watching every Bond movie. Like, let's do it.
That's a lot of them.
I've never. It's a lot of movies.
How many Bond movies is there? There's got to be like 30 or something.
I don't know, but they could have stopped at like 2. That's all I gotta say.
God,
Don't get me wrong. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I've never really seen any of them, and dude, they are so boring. You know what, man? Like, I'm sure this has been argued about before, but like Goldfinger isn't even a villain. He was this guy that just liked gold, and they like the Secret Service demonized him into
for liking gold
and bullied him into madness. At which point he decided to rob Fort Knox. He might have cheated at cards, but I mean, he wasn't a global supervillain. I don't know, man. I was shocked at the simplicity of those old movies. I don't know. I've
seen a couple of them, or I guess a handful, and it just never really got me. Like I've never thought any of them were really good or anything. It's kind of the same thing over and over and over. It's just like Saw movies, basically. You're seeing the same thing, just slightly different.
Yeah, totally.
What?
And like, I swear to God, there's 2 back to back that are like, James Bond has to go disarm 2 nuclear warheads in Russia. And then the next one's like, James Bond has to go disarm 2 nuclear warheads. And I was like, this is literally the same movie.
Maybe the second one is he forgot to do one of the missiles on there, so he had to go back and do the. I was like, fuck, I forgot the other missile. Only got one. I better go back. I'm Bond, James Bond. I say that shit. That's what he needs to say after.
Yeah, right.
He needs to go, I'm Bond, James Bond. I say that shit. Man, yeah, we've been binging a little bit too. We've blown through Shameless pretty much, and
I haven't seen that yet, should I?
It's good, man. It's super good. And then the new Ozark season came out, and What We Do in the Shadows TV show. Have you seen that?
I have not. I've been meaning to. As maybe that'll be the next one I dig into.
It might be one of the best comedy shows of all time. It's freaking it's awesome, man. But,
love the movie. I'm sure it's
I love the movie
on par
too.
With that.
But honestly, the show's better in my opinion. It's so fucking good. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah,
good to know.
But
I just did a Lock and Key. That was the one that I had been. I don't think meaning to watch. It's Joe Hill is Stephen King's kid. It was a comic book that he had written that with another guy. I forget his name, but that was really that was a good book, and I was happy with that. The adaptation of it. It was a little like too kid friendly. I think it was like more like I don't know. I think they gave it the Stranger Things kind of treatment, but it was good. Right. I still enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, nice. So, have you, since this whole thing's been going on, have you picked up like any bad habits or dropped any bad habits or anything like that?
I just stopped exercising. That's the bad thing. I really shouldn't have. I gained the old quarantine 15 and then some probably, but I lose weight really fast, so I'm not worried about it. As soon as I actually get off my ass and do something again, I'll be fine. But it really was. I'd been busting my fucking hump for like 6 months at the bar. Like working at the 24-hour bar, I was the guy that was on call from, noon to 4 a.m. I was like, just from 4 a.m. to noon, don't call me. But any other time, I'm the dude, So it was just like 6 months of that, 7 days a week,
Right.
I was ready for it, but it was, it was a grind. So when this whole thing hit, it was like, the government says you can't work anymore. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just stay home and start drinking. And, but I definitely blew through a bottle of whiskey or three at first, but then I was like, okay. This is gonna be a while. I need to.
Yeah, man. I come out here to the midnight barn, like I call it, and I bring beers out here, and like I said in the first episode, I kind of like just put on music and like talk to friends on FaceTime and shit like that, because it's kind of like getting out anymore. That's like the best version of it. I've been watching a bunch of NPR Tiny Desk concerts. And
those are great.
There is so many good ones. Many good ones.
Yeah.
And there's like some you wouldn't expect to be good. And then you get to discover like all sorts of new stuff. One thing I didn't expect to be good, maybe it was the wine and beer, but it was pretty good. Harry Styles, I think One Direction is what he was in. He did he had a whole band with him and like some solo stuff, and it was legitimately good music. I was like, it's not supposed to be good. This is Harry Styles, man. What's going on here? But you can discover a lot of good music on there, man. Just turn out the lights, crank up the volume, drink some beer, and maybe smoke a bowl. And,
I know. Everyone's favorites. What is it? Anderson .Paak. That one's just nuts. Because I didn't know he played the drums.
I've seen that one. Oh, no. I don't think I've seen that
Anderson
one yet.
.Paak. Oh, God, dude. Do yourself a favor. It's not that long. But, man, it's just him playing the drums and rapping. And then a bass player, a guitar player, and a keyboard player, and a drummer. And he's the drummer that's singing, so it's just like a little 4-piece band. But fuck, it's good, dude. Yeah, and Paak, P-A-A-K, Anderson .Paak. Check that one out. You'll love it.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Just watch his hi-hat hand, like while he's rapping. You're just like, how does he do it? I don't know.
Oh man, yeah.
That was one that really blew me away. But I've been like watching a shit ton of concerts that ever since YouTube became like such a huge database for like every single old concert ever. Like I've been busy. Like I haven't had time to just sit down and pour through all that shit. So literally I've been going down concert row. Like every band that I could imagine that I was ever into, I went to a concert from the year that I was into them and watched it. And I've been like really surprised at some of the results and really horrified at some of the results.
Oh, really?
God, I was into this. Oh my God, this is horrible.
What's one that you were horrified about?
I think the worst thing I've seen so far was Marilyn Manson, 97.
Really?
I think it was a whacking open air. They were such a rated guitar rock band back in the day, I felt like. And it was just, I don't know, it was just an awful show. I couldn't believe how bad it was.
Really?
That was all, really.
Was it like mainly the sound, or was it
there's been some good ones too. I don't like just talking shit. It was the sound. You could tell they were just drugged out. It was at like 4 p.m. It was like not spooky at all. Just like
daylight.
It was just terrible.
Not so spooky.
I know, it was not good at all. I was shocked. But like there's a show of them in '95 at the Trocadero that was just phenomenal. That was just they just played the whole Portrait record, and it was just awesome. But I'm trying to think of something great that I saw though that I didn't know would be that good.
Marilyn Manson, it's one of those bands where I'm not crazy about the music, but I really respect what he did, and he seems like a smart guy. He seems like a good person, but like he turned the world upside down when he was like Antichrist Superstar. I remember my mom like being like, "Do not listen to him. Do not listen." I was like, "Well,
he was on every talk show, everything." Yeah, it was like it was a national villain. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
it's one of those things. My mom would just like. She would threaten me, even though I wasn't really listening to him. Like I didn't hate him or like him back then, but she would remind me. I don't want you listening to Marilyn Manson. Okay. The only time she thought Beavis and Butthead was okay is like Marilyn Manson. But yeah, like Jesus. I said, I respect what he did, man. He turned the fucking world upside down, basically. Like he was the most popular thing when at a certain point.
He wasn't. He never just stuck with one thing. If it worked. And then it got stale. He wasn't afraid to jump to something completely different, and then made a career out of that. And I don't know. I think that's respectable. But of the things that I ended up seeing that I ended up really enjoying, that I didn't. I was kind of just casual. I like Blur. They're not my favorite band in the world,
Right,
but
right.
I like Blur. You know, I mean, their albums have like, you know, they're usually like half amazing songs and then half like, yeah, whatever. That was a cool idea, but I don't know.
Right, right.
But anyway, I looked. It was a show that they played at just some club in Denver, '96. It was scathing, man. It was on the Escape tour, and I'm just like, you could tell like they weren't there to fuck around, and just like it was the most abrasive, like punk, crazy, like thing. I wouldn't like. I was scared of those dudes. I was like, these are like English thugs, dude. I ain't fighting these dudes at all. You know, and it was like they just had this attitude that I didn't expect from Blur, like playing songs like "Charmless Man" or like "Life in the Country" or whatever. Or I'm sorry, "House in the Country."
Right.
It was just incredible. I couldn't look away. But and a lot of other things too that I learned just watching bands. It was a Weezer live at the Electric Factory '96. It was like right when Pinkerton came out, and I never got to see Weezer with Matt Sharp in him. I saw him like the first time I saw him was summer of 2000, like before the Green album came out. But
I saw him a year or two ago with the Pixies.
Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was a really good show.
It's they have so much material that I don't know now. It's
yeah,
astounding.
yeah.
You know
I'm kind
of
I'm kind of a Blue Album guy, and you know I like some of their other shit too. But that album is that one that's like, this is one of my favorite albums ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And they played a lot of songs off that, so yeah, it was really cool for sure.
But that's it. Yeah, just going down concert lane every night, or just like catching up on stupid shows or whatever. It's just a lot more screen time than I'm used to. I used to just like tear through video games, you know, just like, you know, the really hardcore games too, like fucking Skyrim or Dark Souls or anything like that, where I was just like, you know, I would max out a character, you know, 200 hours easy, you know, and I just don't have time for that anymore, but just because I got the kids and shit, but yeah, it was a good time. I missed them video games, games. I miss them.
I bust it out and play sometimes. I'll play my Xbox and like I play for a couple hours and then something in the game pisses me off, so I'm done for a minute. I tell you what's fun to do is get drunk and play wrestling games. I swear to God,
I haven't played a wrestling game in a long time.
They're really entertaining.
I bet they're hard these days. I bet they're like actually difficult.
That's why you put it on easy, man. Then it's all easy. Shit. Well, hey, man, you want to take a break real quick and then come back and tell us a story?
I'm drinking a Bell's Two Hearted Ale. I don't know if you see
nice. It. Yeah, that was good.
It is one of my favorites.
I'm drinking Lost 40 something or other. I can't remember which one it is. It's kind of dark and sweet.
I don't like them as sweet as I used to. You know, like actual. Let me see if I can get my professional light show going here. Trying to, for those that don't know, I just had a kid and I have to be outside so I don't wake up this volatile child.
Yeah.
You know, you all know.
So
you know how it goes.
Here we are back with Kyle Shutt, looking creepy as fuck. Looks like
doing what I can, trying to stay
in a found footage movie.
In the shadow, what we do in the shadows, right? We're just talking about.
Kyle, you're gonna scare all the watchers, man. What the fuck, dude? I told you not to scare everybody. It was the first rule, man.
But you wanted to hear a story, right? So I thought this would be appropriate if you all want to hear a story.
That's very true.
Do you want to hear like one from my childhood, or like a weird,
really whatever you want to do,
story, or whatever?
Anything you want to share, man. Just something that sticks out in your head that you want to talk about, really.
I don't know. People always just ask me, like, they always have a million questions. I never get to the point where they're like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'll be like, "I have no idea." I don't know.
Kyle.
One of the I don't know, formative experiences, I think. When I was a kid, I almost died one time. I was in a house that my parents had moved into, and I guess whoever did the inspection for the house didn't check everything they were supposed to. Sorry, I got a bug on me. But
I was almost a home inspector, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah. The carbon monoxide coming out of the hot water heater, I think, it was a slow enough leak that it wasn't like an instant like thing. It was just like this very slow, gradual thing. I started to get sick, you know what I mean? Kind of just like just like a cold or a flu or something. But then I was really small at the time. I was in the 4th grade. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember being very sick and like real disoriented and stuff. And then eventually my mom started to get sick, and we just thought that I got her sick. You know what I mean?
Right. So it sounds like it's kind of almost like a slow poisoning in a way.
Very, very slow poisoning. And then eventually, like after another couple of days, my dad started to get sick. And then by then it was like I couldn't get off the floor. You know what I mean? Things were bad. And a neighbor, like my mom was like, called a neighbor of ours and was like, hey, I need you to come over here and see if stuff is normal. Because like literally it's not like we're dumb. Like it makes you think stupid. You know what I mean? You literally can't like think, fucking straight and stuff when you're on that. So when our neighbor came over and saw like the state that our house is in, she was like, we have to get y'all to the hospital right now. This is ridiculous. So yeah, they tested positive for carbon monoxide poisoning, which I had never heard of that before then. That was kind of like, the silent killer back then, literally. And it usually kills people like overnight. You know, I mean, it was the fact that it was such a slow leak. We got really lucky, but they stuck a needle in my arm to like this one particular vein that comes directly out of your lungs. I think I don't know what the measurement was called there, but they're like, your lung blood count is 38. And I was like, I don't know what, I was like, I don't know what that means. They're like, it's supposed to be 0 and nobody lives past 40.
Shit.
Yeah. So I was like on the line, you know what I mean? Of like almost dying. So they stuck me in this atmosphere.
Awesome neighbor.
It was crazy. I know, totally. And so they stuck me in this atmosphere chamber thing and like pumped all the gas out of my body somehow.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I personally didn't know what was going on at the time. It was just like all I knew is that I got really sick and I was getting better, and it didn't really affect me that much. I think kids are pretty resilient, and for whatever reason, I mean, I guess it's a good reason, but like at school, I remember like they called me like out of class, like the next time I was like finally back in school. I was out of school for like 2 weeks, and they're like, the guidance counselor wants to talk to you. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll go talk to him. And he was just like, I remember he was real concerned about me and stuff, but I felt fine. I just remember feeling like I just want to go back to class. Like, why am I here talking to you? This is weird. And that was kind of like the beginning of me having to go see a lot of guidance counselors for some reason or other. I never got sent to the principal's office, but I was definitely like, I disturbed some teachers enough for them to like report me to the guidance counselor. And eventually by 6th grade, I was diagnosed as having low self-esteem, is what they called it. And I was put into a...
Did you feel that way at all? Or was that them just telling you that?
I truly did not. No, they were telling me that. And I had to go to a low self-esteem class, which was basically all the cutters and biters and just fucking shit. They just let us play like Oregon Trail on the computers for an hour and a half. And I just was like, I felt like I was in prison. And I don't know, that was the beginning of me, I think, thinking like, fuck all y'all. Like, you don't care what I think or how I feel or anything. You're just like, and then I don't know. The next thing you know, like I find a Dead Kennedys record somewhere or like fucking shit like that. So it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like where my love for punk rock probably started. But
right.
There you go. I don't know. There's a story for you.
Yeah, I mean, you figure if they're gonna try to help you, they're not just gonna stick you somewhere in front of a computer or something. Like they just wanted you out of the class, basically. He's gonna freak someone out or something, like because they
I don't know.
Can't take the time to understand a kid or something. I don't know. It's
small town Texas bullshit. Yeah.
Well, glad you're alive, man. Glad your neighbor came over and did that shit.
My self-esteem much higher now. Yeah, absolutely.
If that neighbor's still alive, you should write him a letter or her a letter. Like,
I should.
Hey, it's me, Kyle. I'm about to tour Primus. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being alive.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I didn't know there was a lung vein. That's new to me. I didn't know there
was something like, don't quote me on that. I don't know what the proper term is, but it was like that was the measurement that they were looking for. Yeah.
Oh, I'm quoting you. I'm telling everybody. He's like, Kyle told me lung vein, and that's what the fuck it is.
Fucking lung vein, man.
No one will argue metal band, man.
Lung vein. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Hey, man, I got some drums now. If you want to collaborate on some lung vein, just hit me up.
I'm up for anything. I have nothing to do but raise 2 kids and paint my ass off.
Well, hey, man, thanks for sharing that story. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Before we get off here, I just want to ask you one more question.
Yeah, what's up?
What do you plan on doing when, I guess, everything's safe to go out into the world, when I guess the pandemic's kind of over? I mean, I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
But
I mean, who knows?
Do you have any plans in mind, or are you kind of just playing it by ear?
My original plan, was still opening a bar. And I'm still sticking with that. If anything, it's going to be an interesting landscape at the end of all this. So I don't know what to expect, but I am staying, people are always going to want to get a drink somewhere. So I'm going to hang with that plan. And that's going to be Kyle's spot. And we're going to play shows. We're going to make more music. I'm going to make plenty more ridiculous projects, I'm sure, so nice. I ain't going anywhere. I ain't scared.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Do you have a name for the bar yet?
Yeah, I don't know. It might change, but right now it's just a work in progress. So I don't want to blow anything too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. Awesome. Well, cool, man. Where can people follow you, or where can they buy your art and music and all that?
Yeah, stuff? I'm mostly on Instagram. It's my name, just at Kyle Shutt. Twitter at Shutt_solos, and I'm on Facebook, but rarely. You can find me at my web store is indiemerch.com/Kyle Shutt. So it's very name centric, and also the sword is all over the internet. If you can't find the sword, maybe you don't deserve to hear
maybe
the sword.
you don't deserve
it. Just whatever you do, don't go to thesword.com.
Why? What
I'm
is
serious?
that?
Don't do it. Just
what
don't go to thesword.com.
I
mean, you can go if you want.
Is it gonna make
go
you
if you want?
Up?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm too goddamn curious not to do it, so I gotta check it out.
Just imagine this.
I'm gonna regret it.
So I'll leave you with this. One day my grandma calls me and she goes, Kyle, I just want to let you know that thesword.com is not your website. I know. So if you want to imagine what my grandmother saw when she went to thesword.com, hook yourself up.
So yeah, everybody check out thesword.com and send me a message. Tell me what you think.
The Sword's the band The Sword's actual website is theswordofficial.com.
Go to that one for sure. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, Zach. Awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for being on, and thanks everybody for watching.